after God's death and resurrection. Read verse 3.
And hereby we do know that we know him, if we keep his commandments.
Keep reading.
He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments, is a liar, and the truth is not in him.
You hear that? He's a liar, and the truth is not in him.
That's right.
Read on.
But whosoever keepeth his word, in him verily is the love of God perfected. Hereby know we that we are in him. And he that saith he abideth in him, ought himself also so to walk, even as he walked.
That's right.
Brethren, I write no new commandment unto you, but an old commandment which ye had from the beginning. The old commandment is the word which ye have heard from the beginning.
You see here, brothers and sisters, there was nothing different being taught after God's death and resurrection.
That's right.
Here's John still teaching that you must keep the commandments of the true and living God. Let's go to let's go to Isaiah 29 and see what God says about those that say they love him but don't keep his commandments. Isaiah 29, we're going to read verse 13.
Wherefore, the Lord said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth, and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men.
See, that's just lip service, brothers and sisters. You need to do more than that. You need to show God you love him by keeping his commandments. Let's see what God says about this fear that you must have toward him. We'll find that in Exodus 20, and we'll start at verse 1. And here we'll see what kind of fear does God want you to have toward him. Is it reverential fear, or is it truly deathly fear? When you get there, brother, verse 1.
And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image.
Okay, brother, now skip to verse 18.
And all the people saw the thunderings and lightnings, and the noise of the trumpet, and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood far off. And they said unto Moses, speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die. And Moses said unto the people, fear not, for God is come to prove you.
Okay, now here, does that sound like reverential fear, or does that sound like deathly fear? They were scared to death. They didn't want God to say any more to them. But why did God scare them like that, brother? Read on.
And that his fear may be before your faces, that you sin not.
He wants you to be afraid of him because he does not want you to sin anymore. So we must find out what is sin. Let's go to 1 John chapter 3 to find out what the definition, according to the Bible, of sin is. 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4, brother.
Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law.
See that? Sin is the transgression of the law. The law is the Ten Commandments.
That's right.
And a whole assortment of other laws that are still good and still must be done. Now, we'll go to Romans chapter 7, verse 12. And we see here what Christians must do.
Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandments holy, and just, and good.
You see that? Christians must do what is holy, what is just, and what is good. And what is that? The Ten Commandments. Now we'll go to Revelation 22 and 14. Revelation 22 and verse 14. Read it.
Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gate into the city.
You see this? This is the benefit of keeping God's commandments, that you will have right to the tree of life, which is God, which is Jesus Christ, and you may enter into the gates of the city, which is the kingdom of God. Read on, brother.
But without are dogs, and sorcerers, and whoremongers, and murderers, and idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie.
Okay. Now we'll make this a little clearer, and we'll go to 2 John 5 and 6. 2 John 5 through 6. Okay, brother, read.
Second John 5 and 6. And now I beseech thee, lady, not as though I wrote a new commandment unto thee, but that which we had from the beginning, that we love one another.
You see, there was no new commandment given. The commandment that we have today is the same as the one that we had in the beginning. Read on, brother.
And this is love.
This is love, brothers and sisters. This is the Bible's definition of love.
All right.
And this is love.
That we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment that is ye have heard from the beginning. You shall walk in.
This is the same commandments that was issued in Exodus chapter 20 that we've already read. Now, lastly, we'll go to Matthew 22 to sum this up. Matthew 22, we're going to start at verse 36.
Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law?
Now, here's a lawyer that came before Jesus and asked him a question. Which is the greatest commandment? If you have any further doubt, God is going to clarify it right here and right now.
Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind.
Again, that's just like Exodus chapter 20 and 3 that we read earlier. Read on, brother.
This is the first and great commandment, and the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets.
You see, on these two commandments are extended all the commandments of God. There's nothing different. You must keep all of God's law. Can you say you love God according to the Bible? And thank you for your time.